What's up, everybody? My name is Mario. I'm the owner of Decked Out Collectibles, and today I want to go over our card shows worth it in 2025. Now, a little bit about us, if you haven't watched our videos before. We've been selling Pokemon cards for about a year now, and last year we made a little over $20,000 in revenue just doing this as a side. Towards the end of the year, we decided to get more serious about the Pokemon business and selling cards. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and follow us along the journey. So without further ado, let's get into our topic. So first, I'd like to talk about card shows as a collector. Somebody who's going there looking for cards or looking to sell some cards to vendors, things like that. We actually just did a card show yesterday. We weren't a vendor this time around, but we did go as customers just to kind of see it. Our goal yesterday was to try to see if, okay, do we want to be a vendor at this location? Is it going to be worth it for us? That kind of ordeal. And I was looking for some cards for our personal collection, a couple stuff for the stream, and just to kind of, enjoy card shows. I like going, so you see all kinds of crazy stuff. Are they worth it as a collector? Of course. I think that's the easiest answer is like if you're a collector and you don't want to just be getting your cards at your local game store, which there's nothing wrong with that. Or you don't want to be going through Facebook groups or TCG Player or eBay, then card shows are a great way for you to source the cards that you need for your collection. And sometimes you can get them at a cheaper price. Sometimes you can typically find harder cards to look for, like vending machine cards from Japan, things like that. So I enjoy card shows. There's something like magical about the just finding them in the wild is what I like to refer to it as. So as a collector, I usually like to go there versus just buying it from TCG Player. For instance, yesterday we picked up a Squirtle from Stellar Crown, the illustration with Pidgey. Yeah, I could have bought it from TCG Player, but I kind of like buying it from like vendors at card shows just to kind of support them, and I don't know, it's just fun. One of the important things to do when you're trying to go to a card show is you got to find the right card show for you. If you're a Pokemon collector or Magic the Gathering or Lorcana, things like that, you don't really want to prioritize going to a sports card show because the chances of you finding those cards are going to be very low. And if you do find it, it's probably going to be overpriced because it's somebody who doesn't really dabble in that market anyways. So they're not going to give those cards the care and attention they need as far as like updating pricing and all that stuff. So be sure to choose the right card show for you. And on the flip side to that, if you're a big sports card collector and you're deciding to go to something that is definitely more focused towards like anime and comics and Pokemon cards, then you probably shouldn't be going to those. I would just stick to sports card shows. There's a lot of them out there. Just a quick Google can really show up a list of card shows in your area. So I highly encourage you just kind of look for yourself. As I mentioned before, card shows are a great way to find those like rare or like more niche cards. And when I say rare, I don't necessarily mean like a rainbow Charizard. I'm talking about like, oh, hey, this is a Yukimori art, or oh, this was only exclusive in Japan through a vending machine. Like, I've got a couple of those, and they are hard to find. Or maybe you're trying to look for, like, oh, this card is banned in English because the Grimer is looking up, or the Grimer looks like it's looking up the girl's skirt. Those kind of cards are harder to come by, but there might not be that desirable in terms of price. So that's what I love about card shows, and that's what I typically collect, is those like weird niche cards that you don't see every day. Another good reason you should go to card shows is if you're the type of collector that, you're trying to get just base set or fossil or just older cards or just expensive cards in general without paying that expensive price, well, you can always look for really good binder cards, is what I call them. These are cards that the face of the card doesn't really look that bad, and the back of it might be like really trashed and damaged and definitely isn't something that a lot of people would like. So I call those binder cards, and those are a good way to source those for your own personal collections and just something to thumb through. I know a lot of people that I've met at card shows love my binder that has cards just like that. I mean, I had a lot of Mewtwo's and Mews that were like that, and I sold those all to one person. He just sat there and selected, I think it was like 20 or 30 cards, and bought them all right then and there. Which I was surprised that somebody was really interested in them, because I'm used to like, okay, near mint, lightly played at most. Like selling something that's like moderately played and lower is usually something I kind of steer away from. So to see somebody really want those, that was actually pretty surprising to me. I was happy that I could help him out and give him a good price on some of these cards. And I was also happy to just kind of have them out of my inventory, because I was scared I was going to hold on to them for a while. So if you're a binder card collector, then it's definitely worth it. A lot of vendors have like dollar binders where you can thumb through cards, and you might find some cards that are like maybe $2 or $3, but they're in maybe a little bit worse condition, or they just don't move that much, and they'll sell them for $1, and so you can get some deals. Probably the last thing I'm going to cover is at card shows you can usually find really cool like just items to have around, or like parody products, things like that, of like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Digimon, One Piece, just to kind of decorate maybe like your nerd room or your man cave. I mean, up here we got a lot of stuff on our shelves and on the walls of just Pokemon products and things like that. So I actually found this yesterday. If you can see it, it's a Pokemon pack, and it is a parody pack. It's actually really funny. I got a really big kick out of it. I thought it was really cool. We're probably going to open this up here soon, and I'll go over the actual like package and stuff like that. I've never opened these, but I thought it was really funny. I had to buy it. It was like $3, so why not? So now let's move on to the next topic: card shows as a vendor. This is where it matters a little bit more what type of card show you're looking for, where it's located, and what is your table cost. Okay, these are like your biggest things you have to consider if you're going to be a vendor at a card show. I know previously I said that you don't go to a sports card show looking for Pokemon cards, because most of the time they're not going to have them. However, as a Pokemon vendor, you might want to consider it, just because then your competition in the market for that day is a lot lower. So people that are looking for Pokemon cards are kind of more channeled to you. You almost, like, without really doing it, you almost monopolize the area for the day. I know we've had some success in it in the past, where there was only probably about like 10 vendors that sold Pokemon cards at a collectible card show or a collectible show. So we ended up doing really well that day for a one-day show. I was surprised because we didn't even have that much inventory, and we ended up selling through a lot of it. So I was really happy with the results that day. Outside of that, if you're going to, obviously you're going to have a ton of Pokemon vendors, or everybody's going to be selling Pokemon products. That's where you want to consider what are you going to be bringing to the table, and what are you going to be competing against immediately. The next important thing is location. I think location plays a very big part as to the deciding factor if you're going to go to that card show as a vendor or not. Because as a vendor, you want to make sure that you have enough traffic to make it make sense to be a vendor there and pay for the table cost and all those things. Because the last thing I'm going to do is pay $80 for a table at a card show that there's only probably going to be about 100 to 200 people coming through there in the span of like 4 hours, and maybe 400 people all day. That's not, I already know that card show won't be profitable for me. Now, thankfully I've never experienced that, so hopefully you don't either, but it's something to consider. My recommendation is go there as a customer before you decide to be a vendor. That's what I did yesterday. The next biggest thing that kind of encompasses all three of them is your table cost. Table cost as a vendor for a card show ranges from anywhere from $60 to typically about $100, maybe a little bit more, but that's kind of the average I've seen for most like smaller to medium-sized card shows. Obviously, Collecticon and other shows like that are probably going to be more expensive. So don't hate on me and say like, well, you said a collector con would only be $100 for a table. No, I didn't say that. Okay, I'm just saying the card shows I go to, which are like medium to small, it's usually at most about $100 per table. A lot of times you can actually get a deal if you buy 2 to 3 more tables. They'll cut you a little bit of a discount on your table cost in general. I think they'll knock it down from like 85 to maybe 75 per table. So you save about $30, which is important. Ensuring that the table cost to you makes sense for the scale of Pokemon cards that you're trying to sell is important. You don't want to go to a card show only selling cards that are $5 and below, and your table cost is about $85. You're not really going to be able to make any money from that if you sell, maybe you sell 50 cards at $5 each and you make $250, but then your table cost was $85. Was it worth it? Because then you subtract the 85 from your revenue from the card show, and then how much did those cards cost you themselves? If you're like me, I probably pay for $5 cards, I'll pay about 60% of the market. So you do the math. Does it make sense? Is it worth your time? And that's where you gotta find ways to make it make sense. Something that we like to do is we like to have small little knick-knack or $5 and below items that attract people and make them want to buy it. One of our latest things that we decided to do is kind of buildable Lego Pokemon. Now, you can find this stuff on the internet, Amazon, Temu, AliExpress, that kind of stuff. It's a lot of pieces, right? And I've got some that I'm building myself. But Legos are pretty popular, Pokemon's pretty popular. So we paid anywhere from $2.50 to $3 per on those kind of items. So you average it out, it's probably about $2.70, give or take, depending on the size. And so we'll be selling those at our tables for about $10, maybe a little bit less. We're going to put them in a nice little bag from Amazon and sell them for about $10. So our investment to what our return is should be pretty good, because $10, somebody will be a little bit easier to just spend a $10 bill versus like $20 for something like that. $5 just doesn't make sense, because if it costs me $3 per to build it, and then I'm selling it for $5, then I'm only making a $2 profit. And if I have 20 of them, I would have to sell all 20 to make $2 times 20, to make $40 in profit. So for me, the chances of you selling 20 of those at a card show, I don't know, it could be high. It's probably going to be a little bit less. Probably sell about 5 to 10 of them, and that's pretty good for me. Keychains are another big one that we like to sell. We like to sell keychains from anywhere from $2 to $5. And these are small little knick-knack things that cost you less than 75 cents to either make or assemble. And then you sell it at your show. That helps you make your table costs when you really remedy it down. And then lastly, we also knit Pokemon. My wife does this in her free time. And this is her latest one. This is one of our bigger ones that we've ever done. We have smaller ones. If you see them on our like card display case on our streams or in our videos, they're the little tiny ones. They're good for like desks. She makes them while she works, and yeah, if you calculate the time she puts into it to what we sell it for, might not really equate, but she likes crocheting, she likes Pokemon, so she does it anyway, and she's able to get better at crocheting this way anyway. So we sell them at card shows, I believe for about $10 each, $5 to $10 depending, and that's how we're able to actually make our table cost. You'd be really surprised how much a lot of this little knick-knack stuff sells at card shows. Most people will want it if it's in front of them, but they typically don't want it online, if that makes sense. Like, it's like the desire isn't enough to be able to put it in your cart and buy it, but if it's in your face, you'll probably buy it, and if it's cheap enough, why not? It's just $5, it's just $2, but you're making pretty good percentages, and you're able to do it in volume if you make it cheap enough and it makes sense. So that's kind of like my tip for you. If you're going to be a vendor and maybe you're not selling all these high-end slabs or high-end cards, that's a good way to supplement the cost of your tables versus the profit that you make from your singles. Next topic is overpricing your cards or going under the market. Okay, a technique that I see a lot is vendors will price their cards over TCG Player market, and then you might haggle with them and you're probably going to land at that market price. That's not bad. We don't necessarily do that idea. We just kind of stay at market and we'll maybe go a little bit over, plus or minus $1. And for bulk deals, for bigger deals, consisting of like 10 or more cards, I have more wiggle room just because I'm pushing more cards. For the most part, we don't inflate our prices to have artificial negotiations. We just kind of stay at that market price and sell them that way. The benefit about doing that is if everybody else is inflating their prices and you're already at market, you seem cheaper, people will probably buy your cards, or people will probably be more likely to buy from you versus other people. The downsides to it is, let's say I did inflate my prices and the dude just doesn't want to negotiate and he's okay with paying, $3 or $4 more for that $10 card versus haggling me down. Yeah, I could be missing out on $3 or $4, but for me, I don't really care to. Maybe I'll try it out at my next show, but for the most part, I stick to around that market price, and that's just how it is, unless you're buying a lot of cards from me. Next, we're going to talk about trades and trade-up challenges. So let's talk about trades first. Trades, I know a lot of people are like, I'll trade at 80%, things like that. I usually don't take trades that much. It's very seldom I'll take trades. For me to take a trade, the card that I'm getting is got to be liquidable. All right, it's got to be like, I better be able to get it from you today and have a high chance of selling it at that show the same day. Okay, so for me, that's what it is. And then I'll usually take a trade credit towards, it's usually about 70 to 75%. And I know what you're saying, like, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Who would trade you that? People still do it. And I do it because it's like, I don't really want trades. I don't really need it. So by all means, go trade somebody else. But that's kind of where I'm at. You don't have to. That's my whole theory. And then trade up challenges. I don't mind trade up challenges. However, don't expect me to take your bulk card and give you a very chase card or like an extremely valuable card, because it's not going to happen. It was cool for a second, and then now it's kind of old and stale. Now, we did get a cool card that we still have from a trade up challenge, and it's the PSA 5 e-reader Squirtle. My wife likes Squirtle, so I was like, okay, why not? And I can't even remember what I gave for it, but ended up being pretty good. Another benefit to a trade-up challenge is I took some really bulk card, and I liked the dude. He was a vendor / content creator, so I liked him enough to where he gave me his bulk card. I gave him a Gengar Galarian Gallery or Trainer Gallery, and then he later did another like little coin flip thing with us. We won the coin flip and we got a Terapagos premium collection for like $65, so we definitely won on that. And I think accepting his trade up challenge allowed us to be able to get something like that. So there is good sides to it. I just ask that the kids that come to your table and ask for a trade up challenge, be nicer to them. Don't just immediately shy them away and stuff like that, or be rude. Be gentle, let them down, entertain it, and then just be like, nah, I really don't have anything, or something like that. They're kids. They're new to the hobby, and the last thing I want to do as a vendor is pretty much rain on somebody's like passion for the hobby. Next, we're going to talk about buying cards at a card show. Okay, this is something I actually kind of learned recently. Was maybe you're doing a card show and you don't have enough high-end cards or a desirable inventory to be a competitive vendor at a card show. And this is where vending kind of comes into play. This is where buying kind of comes into play. So our last card show, I didn't have the best cards or the highest value cards at a card show, and I was like, man, I really need some $50 and higher cards. And I don't know what happened, but some dude, like one of the first people to our table was like, are you buying? And I was like, yeah. And he ended up selling me a bunch of like EV promos, like the Flareon VMAXs and things like that. A bunch of like $50 and up cards. And I was like, hey man, I'm only buying at 70% today. And he's like, that's fine. So I was able to get these cards at a really good price for me and put them right into my display case. Ended up selling a bunch of them like that. I think the same day I bought a Charizard from Celebrations for, I think it was valued like 105 bucks. I bought it for $70. They were okay with it. I then sold it a couple hours later to a girl for her birthday, and I sold it for 100 bucks. Very quick, easy little $30 flip, so I was pretty happy about it. So even if you're going to be a vendor at a card show and maybe you don't have all the Charizards or Umbreon VMAX or Gengars or what have you, you can still go there, buy the inventory you're going to sell from people coming to your table, and still make a good profit that day. So it's definitely something to look into. Just make sure your buying threshold makes sense for you as a seller. You know, I know some people can buy at 80%. I'm not there yet. I still have to buy very low. And if you know me, I definitely encourage you to shop around for the best money for your cards. I'm not the type of person to be like, give me your cards, give me your cards. You know, I will offer and I'll be like, please go shop around, and I'll genuinely mean it. Because I know what it's like to sell cards. I remember what it's like to sell my personal cards, so I want to make sure that you get the most money you possibly can for your cards. Yeah, it kind of sounds stupid to have that mentality, but that's just who I am. And is it bad for business? Yeah, probably, but it's not something I'm really willing to give up. You know, I think you can still make it in this industry and still have a heart or morals and not have to be so cutthroat. So I know I showed this pack of parody cards earlier in the video, and I wanted to open this up on video with you guys. So let's go ahead and let's move over to the card case and let's open this up together. Okay, so here we got that fancy pack of Pokemon cards. Alright, just to kind of get a better picture at some of that text, kind of like I showed in the video. It's pretty fine. This is a little parody pack of Pokemon cards. I've seen a couple people make things like this, and they're usually pretty funny, like Pokénots. I'm probably going to get some and do a video on, but it's just funny. You know, you got the 2 Pacific points. If you cut it out, it's giving me a lot of like, just, it reminds me of being just like very vintage and just old, like 90s era kind of stuff. The first movie never coming to a theater near you. I like how they have to like, you know, put like, hey, you know, these are parody. It's kind of funny. And then underneath here, if I can get to it, you can kind of see this little barcode, a new low in trading cards, and then don't miss out. And I guess this gives you like the rates, but I'm not going to dabble too much into it. So let's just go ahead and get it. So let's get some magic. All right. Okay. Not too bad. Okay. So I guess that's the backing of it. We're going to save this. And yeah, so those are our rates. So single, double, triple toilet cards. Okay, so I guess the set is about 69. Okay, I guess the set is about 69 cards. 27 cards are double toilets. There's 10 scratch and sniff cards. What? Holographic single foil level, and then gold foils and Greek cards. What? What the heck is it? It's like, I don't know. It's Greek. It's Greek to me. Oh, okay. All right. So, all right, let's try this out. Wish me luck. We're not going to do any card tricks because I have no idea. It's the same thing. Okay. And all right, so I guess we just go at it. Let's go this way, I guess. We'll put these 2 to the side. Okay, so we got a double toilet. We got a double toilet. And this is Smagma. This Pokemon's cheese-like fouling smell. Sebascus secretion disgusts others. Mean skill. Volcanic eruption. Okay. Or meaningless. Okay, we got like a double looking card. Okay. So level 1 and level 2. Spew and Spew 2. It's actually kind of funny. Ignition and blast off skills. The Pokemon vomits hairballs that knock out everything in sight. And then with Atomic Furballs, this Pokemon electrifies its enemy. Okay, that's not too bad. That's kind of cool. I guess they went with a cat. I guess you could say Mewtwo is like a cat, so, or Mew and Mewtwo are kind of like cats, so that's not bad. Let's go with this next one. And is this the right side up? Yep. Okay. And then we got the, what is this? Festerly. I guess it's like a bull. Okay, Scab Peeler for 20 damage. And then this Pokemon's festering scabs and sores make the other Pokemon weak to their knees. Okay, let's see what these last two were. Hopefully we get something cool. Okay, we got a Jiggly Butt. Okay, this Pokemon's gelatinous butt jiggles and squashes its enemies. Cellulite Splat is its attack. Okay, that's kind of funny. And we got Spew. Okay, so we got Spew. Kind of like that one, but not a double card. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So we already saw that. Vomits hairballs that knock out everything in sight, and then Ignition is its attack. So all in all, not too bad of an experience. It would have been cool to get a holo card, but okay, my bad. I ended up dropping this card. All in all, not too bad, honestly. Pretty cool experience for like $3. Something different. Nice change of pace instead of ripping like a normal pack of Pokemon cards and pulling bulk. I guess this was our rare card. It's a double toilet card, so I guess this was the rare one, the Smagma. But yeah, all in all, pretty cool. Not bad. It would have been cooler to have it like kind of all of it the same way, but yeah, that's Pokemon, man. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you found it enjoyable, and hopefully you learned something and now you want to go to a card show either as a collector or maybe you want to take that leap and do your first card show as a vendor. I highly encourage it. It's a lot of fun and you get to help build connections within your community. If you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe, like, and put a comment down below to what you think I should do a video on next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you in the next video.